being pursued by gypsies, playing their terrible gypsy music in the street here, downtown Belgrade, Vračar, Belgrade. And I just want to come in with a very quick and nifty live on the topic of money looks status. We'll also have a little cruise around my area as well, so you can see what's on offer in the beautiful district of Vračar. Let's go now round by the church. But yes, money looks status. Money looks status. Had a great conversation this morning with some friends on how to inject a little bit of the old money looks status into your approach in a very subtle way. And while there is a place for that, basically there's a place for that in cold approach, because you're so limited in how much time you have with the girl that it can be a useful thing to do just to establish a set, just to get the set going. So one of my friends, what he does is he basically says, oh, I just bought a house in this area and it's well known for being a nice affluent area, and it actually gets him into some sets. But then really beyond that just basically gives you a level, that puts you on a level. Beyond that, it's going to be your charisma, and it's going to be your personality. So whilst there is some validity to it, I've always maintained, based on experience, that all of that side of things is mostly for men who don't really know about female sexuality. You know, all these, the reason I know this, I have like friends who talk about marriages and stuff like that, and I'm thinking to myself, bruv, your wife told me that she doesn't fuck you. Your own wife told me this. It's like, they talk about money. Why don't you start giving him a little bit more dick, mate? Yeah? Why don't you start throwing your weight around a little bit in the bedroom? Yeah, that might, your bills might go down, you know? So, yeah, that's going to be the topic of the next 10-20 minutes as we walk through here. Money looks status versus sex appeal. I think most men are getting into approach and getting into game to improve their sexual options, right? To improve their sex lives. They're wanting more sex. That is the main desire for most guys. It's being unfulfilled, right? You know, they're just not getting enough. They're not getting enough options, right? And so a lot of the received wisdom in this whole space has come from American autists, and that's well, at least they created a space, but they were mostly people who were really, really bad at dealing with women in general, and actually many of them were literally autistic. So they're seeing things as ones and zeros. They're not actually seeing things in the way that a natural seducer does. And a natural seducer understands women are the great sexual deviants of planet Earth. Yeah, they're freaks. They're all freaks. It's just how close to the surface that is. And there is an aspect. There's a somatic aspect to their sex drive as well. Usually younger women with more muscle tone, basically better bodies, better breasts, tits, ass, they have higher sex drive anyway, because they've got higher hormones. The same thing that gives you a good body, aka hormones, is the same thing that gives you your sex drive. So a lot of guys, when they get in shape, they start to get more sex drive. Yeah, that is from your hormones. Same with women as well. And then the women who've just got it naturally because they're genetically blessed, I've always found that to be the same as well. The kind of real flat, flimsy ones, I don't know, often they just don't, in my opinion, just don't really have the drive. That's been my experience. So yeah, it's a weird one where the hottest girls physically are also often the hottest, you know, in terms of sex as well. So that's one was worth bearing in mind. They want the sex the most as well. They're the most organically healthy as an organism, right? And so yeah, this idea, money is literally a social construct. It is actually a social construct. You know, sex drive is not a social construct. Genetics is not a social construct. Money actually is. There was a time in human history where it didn't exist, actually, for most of human history. So how women can, they can't see your bank account, can they, right? So how they can be assessing on that, it doesn't really make a lot of sense, does it? It doesn't really make a lot of sense. So yeah, by all means pursue money, by all means pursue success, and pursue whatever it is that gives you a sense of status and it's a sense of fulfillment. But also, you've got to grow up and realize the guys, because this is sprung from I just watched a clip of a film called Lord of War, where the guy, Nicolas Cage's character, he hires an entire hotel, creates like a fake scenario where he invites a girl for a photo shoot, costs him like 40 grand, just so he can meet the girl in the hotel. It's like the ultimate simpery, right? A literal warlord is never going to do that. The girl wasn't even that fit either. It's just so stupid. So you spend 40 grand to get an opportunity to meet a girl. It's stupid. And there was all this, I was looking at the comments, and some guys are saying, yeah, and then you realise there's guys who hit it for free. Exactly. There's guys out there who turned her on, who hit it for free. So it's important to realise this as guys, and if you're not turning the girl on, well, I'm actually going to give you some fucking gold in this live. It's going to be so golden. Really, I should be sending a PayPal link actually on this live, because this is going to immensely improve your prospects. So yeah, but the first point is just to realise girls have got a sex drive anyway. Okay, independent of money, independent of status, maybe even independent of looks. Looks would be the one where you can spike a girl's sexual attraction just through looks alone, obviously, because that's genetics, right? But you don't need to be, you don't need to be a supermodel. That's a fast spike, but you don't actually need to be a supermodel. What you need to handle is a woman's mind. I'm going to drop in, some really interesting tips now. So get ready. Let me navigate the roads here. We'll continue the tour for a moment. I'll keep you on edge. I'll keep edging the way here. So yeah, this area is called Vračar. This is kind of like the low-key area of Vračar I'm in at the moment. The more high class is just a bit more around the cathedral. This area is a little bit more low-key, but it's absolutely sweet. I've been here for a month now, and yeah, it's literally one of my favorite parts of the world. It's so chill. It's so easy just to just go about life, basically. No worries. Completely safe. Very hot at this time of year. Very civilized. And yeah, a lot of hot girls walking around as well. It's, what more do you want, basically? But yeah, let's get back to the topic of how you actually want to be turning these girls on. So first of all, let's just go baseline physical, okay? Let's go baseline physical. It does help to turn a girl on if you're in shape, and to some extent, the better shape you're in, the more turn on she's going to get. It makes your life a lot easier. So just get yourself in some decent shape. Doesn't mean you have to become Anthony Joshua, yeah, nothing ridiculous. But just get yourself into some kind of decent shape. It turns the girls on. Just think of yourself. Do you get turned on by girls who are in shape? Yes. So I would advocate that. The stack I would advocate in terms of just a basic physical strength, just to get some shape into your body. It's the very standard things that people talk about, compound lifts, whatever. You basically, some squats, some bench press, and do some ab and back exercises. You can do all of that in 2 sessions of 40 minutes a week, and your body will start to take shape over, depends how you respond. If you're young, probably over a couple of months. If you're a bit older, it might be about 6 months. but you will notice an upgrade in a woman's overall sexual desire for you. You'll be able to send her just a picture of yourself with your shirt off, and they'll be losing the plot a little bit, right? Because they've got a high sex drive as well in many cases. So that's the first one. So we can all do that. However, you should not feel deficient if at the moment you just don't have anything going on physique-wise. Don't at all feel deficient, because it's also not necessary, but it's just an extra thing that can give you a quick boost. The next one, let's assume let's assume you're actually getting some dates. Let's assume that. You can seduce on the open actually, but I'm not going to focus on that for the time being. Let's just focus on normal seduction on dates. The guy's saying, I had to pay for 7 dates. Bro, that's because you don't know what you're doing. You don't know what you're doing. You lack sex appeal, okay? You lack sex appeal. And the reason you lack sex appeal is because your mind is fucked up about sex, first of all, so you need to get your mindset sorted out. You don't want to have this teenage boy mindset where it's like I'm trying to get my end away, like 15-year-old boy overly sexually excited. That's not a turn on, yeah? The woman does not want a young little boy to fuck with. Yeah, that's her son. That's son energy. You want to have daddy lover energy, where you're actually turning the girl on just as an adult man. So yeah, a lot of guys come across in that way. Frankly, I notice a lot of like Indian guys and stuff like this, and sometimes Muslim guys. They're just too excitable sexually. It really turns, particularly the Western girls, off. Even though I think those guys have got a lot going for them, but yeah, and practically the way to do that. Let me just tell you very practically the way to do this. So the way you want to sexualize with a woman, let's say this is before you slept with her, is you can let her know that she turns you on, right? Or you let her know that she's hot. But however you want to do it, you physically escalate. You might even say it. You might even talk dirty to her. You might even say your tits are so fucking nice. This would be when you're deep into the date, right? And then you're stroking her leg or something, you're stroking her neck or whatever. At the same time, you want to show yourself as, if you make those comments and you're like really getting off on it, and you're like almost literally jizzing yourself over it, then that can be a little bit much. That can be a little bit of turn off. But if you make that comment and you're cool and you're just kind of it's basically you're not overly getting off on it, you're just expressing it. That's the way to do it. Okay, so that's the way to do it when you're actually sexualizing. And it's got to be right place, right time. So let's just say when you start out the date, just a brief compliment on how they are looking. I personally do that in terms of, like, especially if they're well dressed. I always pay them a compliment, just because a lot of guys don't. And it's just how I want to live. I don't want to live in a fake world where I'm being fake. I'm pretending I don't really find the girl. I don't appreciate the girl's dress when I actually do. That's bullshit. So that's how I would start out the date, literally when I first meet her, and then basically just like shake hands and maybe just a kiss on just the cheek, something just really simple like that, just a standard greeting. On the date itself, I'm mostly just getting to know the girl. I'll talk about what I'm doing. This gives me more chance to show the level I'm on, which, it's a good level. So it gives me more of a chance just to discuss my international life and just what I'm doing in general. I don't really have to brag, it just is there. You can discuss whatever positive things you want to discuss. But at the same time, I'm not really showing off, because I just kind of, I just assume I've already got the girl. I've already got her. She's already showed up for the date. I've already got her. So I just want to get to know her. And I'm not in a rush. I want to get to know her. What is she all about, this person who's in front of me? What is about beyond the facade, beyond the beauty? And one of the comments, I always get the comment of like, you're kind of different, aren't you? Yeah, I don't have conversations like this that much. Or even sometimes when the girls are not even that smart, and so they're actually limited on the conversation. They still kind of just, what would be the best way to express it? They can kind of see, I kind of know their game a little bit. So if they're real attention-seeking girls, I kind of just laugh at them. So that's a nice thing to do with dates. It's just, if the girl's a bit of an attention seeker, you just laugh at her, yeah? So that's just a few things on the early part of the date. And as time goes on, you do want to be starting to escalate. So standard things, you know, you can go for touching the leg, you can go for pressing yourself up against a girl a little bit, you can go for stroking the neck. I find that is, in the Balkans, I've had to slightly slow down my escalation because this part of the world's put me off a little bit in terms of like, fucking hell, these girls look like absolute ice queens sometimes. And then I find out later on that they were like really waiting for me to kiss them, and I'm like, literally, you are giving me nothing here, yeah? So I'm going in for stroking the neck, kiss the neck, and then kiss the girl. So there you go. So there's your escalation. So again, it's all pretty simple. But over time, you know, this is just one date, this is just one lay. What you want to position yourself as is her dirty, filthy secret. The guy that she gets to go to let out her wild side, to let out her deviant nympho side. And this is where the puritanical money, look, status guys, they don't get it. They don't get it. And this is where some of these, you know, the good Christian boy, they get fucking shafted on this. And it's like, bro, what? It's like they can't accept reality, biological reality. It's stupid, okay? It's stupid. Same with basically all religions, okay? So the girls are absolute filth, and you need to remember that. And you basically need to remember that this is the side that you want to, it's better for me to appeal to that side of her rather than her economic self-interest, okay? That will play a part later on. You know, like if we get into a relationship and stuff like that, and then we have children and things, economics is going to play a part. But in terms of pure sex life, it should play a minimal part. You know, you buy the drinks, you get the taxis. That's it. That's just normal, though. Do you know what I mean? That's just normal. You shouldn't be buying bouquets of flowers. You shouldn't be buying her dresses. You shouldn't be taking 7 times before. Yeah, you know, before you start to get freaky with her. So yeah, so you need to learn on a consistent basis to be able to actually turn your girl on. Okay, and most of how you do it is through the mind. Most of how you do it is through the mind. So this is where, if you are not if you're not a demigod physically, this is where your greatest break is going to come. Okay, because you can make those demigod looking guys kind of just look like little bitches, really, through the use of your mind. How do you do this? Okay, so this is where, as time goes on, you're interrelating with the girl. What you want to be doing is basically giving her kind of, I would say, fairly consistent sexual validation, in the sense of she sends you a hot photo. Don't try and play it cool, okay? Well, this is the way I approach it now anyway. I don't try and play it cool like I don't care. I'll put the little fire emoji and I'll send a message back, right? And I'll basically let her know that I see her as a highly sexual being, and I see her as extremely hot. And I can actually do a lot over text messages. You don't want to do this before you meet up too often. Pandemic, I think, was an exceptional circumstance, but you don't want to do this before you meet up. But after you've met up, you may have already pulled the girl, maybe already slept with her, you're going back and forth, you want to actually be revealing to her periodically sexual fantasies you have with her. So let's say you've been out with the girl a couple of times, and then third time you just, before you've met after the third date, let's say you've maybe already slept with her, you might say something like, I had a dream about you last night. You were wearing this and this happened. And that can then start off kind of cascading conversation where you start to discuss, fantasies and so on. And you want to lead her through your fantasy and allow her in to allow her into that world and allow her to express all of her dirtiest, filthiest fantasies as well. Okay, and they'll often participate in this, and it's like unleashing a corked champagne bottle, right? When they start to go, you're just like, what the fuck? Yeah, but don't dismiss it or judge it. Just be like, cool, that's your fantasy, man. That's wild. And this is actually how over the long term you have a really good sex life. It's mostly with the old noggin, with the old mind. And this is one of the ways you can. So I have like long-term, long-distance relationships and stuff. I learned this years ago, like when I was working overseas, like 10 years ago. I can actually do more, or I can almost do as much, not quite, but I can almost do as much just over the phone, in a conversation, or through messages, as I can in the flesh, because a lot of it's mental. Then I don't want to give all my secrets away, but then you can tell them to do certain things and so on, command them. You're basically having phone sex, right? Telling them dirty stories. You know, you're accessing, the basic principle is you're accessing their highly sexual side. They're seeing you as this naughty, perverted man, okay? This irrepressible rake. And this is a comment I had for a long time, which is just with girls, like the interesting thing with clubs and stuff is some girls who are waiting for a boyfriend, sometimes they sleep with me just before they were going to get this boyfriend. And it was weird because I understand the psychology of it. Basically, they saw me as a sexual guy who kind of like probably wasn't a good prospect for a boyfriend, but they were interested in. And they'll kind of feel you out, they'll kind of shape you. This is how things were then anyway. Is this a sexual guy, or is this a boyfriend kind of guy? And I just I saw more of an advantage to being the sexual kind of guy, because it's like all the pleasure, none of the fucking responsibility. And also, you know, none of the issues with the girl. So that was, if you position yourself in that way, if you have the courage to position yourself in that way, then that's how the girl's going to see you. If you position yourself as Mr. Perfect Boyfriend, then that's how the girl's going to see you. And this is one of the issues with the whole value equation. This is a big fundamental category error in the whole value equation. People talk about, oh yeah, but this guy's so valuable, he's so attractive. Yeah, but bruv, as a boyfriend, yes, all of the above. But actually, let's just go straight to the hormones and the sexuality and the vagina, yeah? Let's get that activated first. And then it's on you whether you want to step into that boyfriend role or not. But unfortunately, there's this depressing fact for guys who are quite attractive, is there's girls who will actually hold out on you, not sleep with you because they want to shape you into a boyfriend, and they'll fuck some random ugly bastard just because they're horny. It's depressing, bro. It's depressing. So yeah, you want to position yourself more in the camp of the sexual guy, right? So yeah, I've given you plenty of tips in this live. Maybe rewatch it and start to apply some of this stuff. I've just given you tips on escalation and closing, and I've also just given you tips on exactly how you want to position your relationship. Read the book 50 Shades of Grey, okay? Dark, you know, sadomasochism, submission, domination. I don't find many girls who are not into this. It's by far the majority. I've never found one who wasn't into it, to be honest with you. So yeah, read that book and apply principles therein. It's the widest selling book of the last 30 years, and only 50% of the population buys it. Boys, if you're not absorbing the principles, you're missing an open goal, okay? And because of society, because women are under many social pressures as well, the human animal that is the female woman is hidden away. And we talk about good girls, bad girls, all that kind of stuff. It's not a question of good versus bad. Your sex drive just is what it is. It's just there. The question is simply, are there more layers of kind of social control and conditioning, or is it just completely running wild and free? And I actually, my actual preference is for girls who are more on the socially conditioned side, because if it's more of a naughty, divergent behavior from them. It's like, oh, I'm doing something, I'm being pulled down into the flames by this guy. It's actually a lot more meaningful for them than the girl who's just kind of like, there's a certain energy girls have where they're getting railed a lot. It's, you know what, it's similar to the energy of a prostitute. It really is. There's that deadened look behind the eyes, and sometimes they are just genuine nymphos, but yeah. Anyway, so I prefer girls who at least are somewhat socially conditioned. I think they probably prefer men who are at least somewhat socially conditioned as well. You know, it's like I drag you into the flames here, and you're so hot, you drag me into my flames as well. So yeah, that's the kind of story there. Yeah, I draw a very clear distinction between girls who have got a high sex drive, very high sex drive, and then girls who are just lacking self-control. Okay, so for me, a girl who's got a high sex drive and is able to, frankly, own her sexuality in a way that isn't just kind of vulgar and stupid, I respect them. It's like, yeah, she likes to fuck. I get it. Yeah, cool. And then girls who getting drunk, fucking guys, like, you know, whilst they're inebriated, having abortions, all this type of thing. No, I have absolutely no respect for that at all, none whatsoever. I think it's absolutely disgusting, and I think it should be not only discouraged, I think it should be completely socially shamed. So yeah, I've lived in some pretty hot places, Brazil, Dominican Republic. These girls are fucking hot. The climate is hot. They are somatically, maybe even genetically, highly sexed. And I don't consider almost any of them, I don't consider any of them to be sluts, because to me they're not. They have a high sex drive, and they're natural women. They're not getting drunk. They're not taking drugs to just have sex, okay? It's a natural act. It's interesting there as well. Some of the girls, the DR, you will find virgins like until they're 23, 24. You will find girls like that as well, because there's a religious thing going on. It's a really interesting country. You'll find the girls who just, they don't have that, and so they've just always been naturally sexual. And then you'll find the girls who are, they're like 23, 24, still virgins. Certainly if they're 18, 19, you'll find plenty of girls like that. Then you'll find a 17-year-old who's got 2 children. You'll find everything under the sun on that island. So yeah, that's ultimately, I do still have some judgments. I'm not a person who has no judgments at all. And for me, a slut is someone who's out of control, who's drinking and doing drugs, and their sexuality is tied to that. And they're just kind of stupid in general. That's something that just physically repulses me in a way. It's just really just a physical reaction. I just feel the same with guys as well. Guys who are just slobbering drunks, getting into fights or whatever. To me, that's just retarded. It's stupid, you know. So yeah, people say, oh, you should never judge. I don't agree with that at all. I have my judgments. I have like clear lines on judgments, but it's not on this stupid good girl, bad girl lines. That's not actually understanding the human animal. It's not understanding human nature. That's stupid. It's like girls out in the Balkans. Some of them have got real fucking sex drives, but it's like it's like a beautiful present you have to unwrap, and it takes a while to get into, to unlace it, to unwrap it, to open the box, you know, to feel the svelte material. Yeah, it's kind of like that. So do we have any comments? We don't. We've got 5 viewers though. That's not too bad. So yeah, this is just a live on sexuality, money, looks, status. Yeah, that's all big if you don't have any sex appeal. And so I've discussed in this live ways you can improve your sex appeal. One of them's physically. I would do what you can there. Even study, like, you know, women's novels and stuff like that. Have a look at some of the covers. Obviously, those guys are a little bit ridiculous, you know, so you can kind of tap into that. But by far the biggest one is just male strength. That's by far the biggest one. A lot of women in the West are like low-key dissatisfied with the pathetic men that treat them all nicely and they're just all sensitive and stuff like that. They actually basically just want to get fucking railed. And they want to be told and bossed around and told what to do a little bit as well. They might not like, well, I think actually once they get old enough, they've gone through the retardation phase of going through the education system, the miseducation system that we have in the West, and they actually start to grow up a little bit. They start to look at, they start to analyze themselves, and they start to, frankly, come to the kind of conclusions that I'm sharing here. Hey, what's up, bruv? How you doing? Just walking around Belgrade here. So yeah. And the other side to sex appeal, and I would argue the biggest side, is just the mind engaging with the girl mentally. You know, being that naughty, depraved guy, the guy that doesn't count. Yeah, the guy that doesn't count. And that's the direction you want to move things in. As I say, through your messaging, through your communication. That's the bracket you want to put yourself in. That will always be to your advantage. And then from that bracket, if you want to move into boyfriend, husband, fine, you can move straight in there. That's no problem. What you don't want to be is the boyfriend, husband who she hides her sexuality from. That's also not good. That's also not good. Is there anything else on this one? Yeah, I think a lot of guys lack male charisma and male authority in general, personality. And so they look at things like money, looks, status as the only things that work, because they are probably the only things that work for them. But yeah, your authority, by the way, doesn't come from, you know, I speak in a certain way, especially on lives and videos. I speak quite loud and stuff. That's not really how I am in my approaches at all. In fact, your authority mainly comes from stepping into the approach, moving things forward, and having a backbone throughout. You don't need to be beating your chest over this. There's guys who can have that real quiet, calm, steely confidence, and it can be very quiet. Yeah, it doesn't require loud beating of the chest at all. Barely even requires many words, to be honest. So also bear that in mind as well. Don't think you have to be a certain way, a quote-unquote alpha male. You really don't. You really don't. It's more like your assertiveness, right? And you can assert yourself. You can be assertive in different ways, different fashions. People have different personality types. I've seen sometimes I've seen these really quietly authoritative guys, and I'm like, man, that's fucking cool. I just watched someone like, because I've been a club promoter and stuff, I've spent a long time in clubs. And I don't drink, I will see it all go down. I'll see it all go down. And I can remember it all as well. That's why I've got so many reference points, is because I've spent thousands and thousands of hours in these places, seeing all the seduction going down in places all over the world, and I don't drink. So I can actually remember it all. And I see these quietly authoritative guys, and I'm like, yeah, I can see there's a bit of a resistance there. Oh, he's just ignoring it. You know, yeah, he's sexualizing a little bit here. Interesting. Sometimes it's girls I know, and they moan to me about the guy, and I just laugh at them, you know. I remember having like a promo girl. She was, I don't know, like maybe 19, 20 or something. And she just couldn't resist some guy who was like in his mid-30s. And, I just busted up someone's car. He was in his mid-30s, and he was not even remotely good looking, this guy. Like, he was actually fairly ugly. And the girl was a smoke show. I used to walk around with her just to the promotion. She was too much of a, like, she's a bit too much of a nympho for me, but, no. She got passed around too much, basically. It's like, I know all the guys that bang this girl. But the one guy she liked was not even good looking at all. And he just appealed to her sexuality. And when I saw it happening, I was like, yeah, I can see what's going on there. And I've also been in lots of scenarios where there's a guy trying to take my girl off me. I've taken girls off guys. And in a couple of cases, at least one case, there was one case I can think of where the guy succeeded. The French guy, about 10 years ago. Told the story a million times. This is why I'm absolutely ruthless. French guy took my girl out for like, this is just my date, so she's not my girlfriend, for like 2-3 dances. Within about 5 dances, they're leaving the bar together. Yeah, they're going. This girl's got my phone as well. No, I've got her phone. She comes over to me to get her phone to fuck off with this guy. So that's the brutal lessons basically of the life, the game. I never forgot that one. And strangely, even that night, I was like, you know what, this is good, because it got me more focused on some hotter girls in the club. The girl I was on a date with was not actually that hot. So I was almost, but it was still like, fucking hell, I thought I was the man here. I thought I was too good for this girl. Now she's fucking off with this 50-year-old French guy. And what did he do? He got her turned on. Yeah. Lesson to Joseph. If your girl gets turned on by another guy, all bets are off. Yeah. Your date gets turned on by another guy, all bets are off. So guys, grow up, realize women's vagina, we're animals, bruv. Yeah, we're animals. We're human apes. Keep remembering that. Money is a social fucking construct, right? Obviously, we need to play in that world, obviously. But yeah, a $50, that car over there, that's a Porsche over there. I've yet to see a woman come over and grind herself on that Porsche over there. It's not happened yet. So yeah. And this is why you've also got to be a bit ruthless as well. No one's looking out for your personal life, my friend. Absolutely fucking no one. No one's coming for you, my friend. No one is coming for you. You're going to have to be the one who's proactive. And what I would recommend is getting some kind of a brotherhood around you. It's actually where you've got a common purpose, maybe just having a good time and getting the best girls. I would highly recommend that, because then that's a force multiplier. So me and the guys down here in Belgrade, we can easily do instant dates, multiple dates together. It's easy. We support each other going in for approaches completely. It makes our lives so much easier. It's a force multiplier for all of us. That was the same when I had my kind of wolf pack in nightlife. You can operate alone. At the end of the day, it's like, James Bond is not a real character. How things really get done is you get like 8 special forces guys just go in and just wreck everybody in a compound. That's how it actually works. And it's the same. It's kind of the same in all areas of life. You can do what you can do alone, but the best operator alone will never outperform 3 or 4 great operators together. It is impossible. It's impossible. It's just not possible, especially with daytime approach as well. Being out with the right people will take you to a completely different level, and it'll be easy as well, and it'll be fun. So that's another side to it as well. So, okay, MS. Where are you from, MS? Yeah, things like about how long to message a girl and stuff like that. If you're overthinking those types of things, you're just not doing enough volume. Yeah, you're just not. Are you doing approach in Devon? You're doing your approach in Devon? Because if that's the case, I don't know how many. I'll just have to keep reiterating this. You cannot excel in small provincial cities. It's not going to happen. Yeah, you need to move, mate. You need to move. I'll just tell you absolutely clearly. And most of the guys that work with me, if they're not already in a major city, they come and do a session and then they realize within the following month, I'm going to have to move. I'm going to have to move. I can't tell you anything. What do you want me to say? go to the village, and you know, yeah, you could meet someone. Of course you could, but you're not going to become a dangerous operator in cold approach. I think as well, you want to level up your life, in my opinion, by moving to a city for at least a few years, and then you can move back. So if you're taking this seriously, you're taking your personal life seriously, just get yourself to the city, and then once you've captivated the girl of your dreams, then you've got an angle to move back. Yes, I mean, sometimes I'll go and stay in second tier cities. Like I'd probably classify Skopje as a second tier city, although it is the capital of North Macedonia. It's about 500,000. It's not that big. And yeah, Santiago in northern Dominican Republic. That's about 500,000 as well, 400,000. So there's a few second tier cities that I do like, but in general, it needs to be more of a first, second tier. Like Manchester's good. That's a second tier city. It's not like a global tier, but it's very, very good. Yeah, like these small villages, you just got to move. I think there's a lot of guys that watch. Could be, I would say 1 million plus is ideal. But let's take, for example, what you want to do is get yourself. How far are you from Bristol, for example? Bristol's very doable. I don't know if the top population of Bristol is more than 1 million, but it's about. Do you have a lot of good-looking young people there? Is there a lot in the streets? That's really what it's about. If you get yourself over to Bristol, Bristol's a good place for approach, day and night. I've done some fucking amazing nighttime sessions there. Unfortunately, I was with a bunch. It was the best night I've had. I was with a stag do, and they were all morons. They were all idiots. Well, no, actually, they were good guys, but they were just clueless when it came to approach. Completely clueless. So they were almost a disadvantage to me. But I remember getting a lot of numbers that night. Like 2, 3 numbers. Well, it's not a lot to be fair, but 2 or 3 like really viable numbers after like 20-minute, 30-minute interactions with girls. I was like, man, this is just a little taster coming in as an external guy. So it's a bit further. For some reason, I associate Bristol with being maybe a bit closer to Devon, but it's not really, is it? Yeah. So you want to be getting yourself to a big city. London, Manchester. They would be for me, my favourite in the UK is Manchester. I think it's literally built for approach. It's worth going to these places for at least a calendar year, developing yourself, and just dedicating yourself to your approach for a year. It's going to take some time to get good. It is what it is. Yeah, you lived in Bristol. Yeah, it's a good place. It's a really good place. It's good for approach. I mean, I think there's the multiple things that need to be put in place when we start to look at how guys can excel and succeed in the modern world. Number one is having the skill set to actually go and do the approaches, okay, and having the emotional experience and durability to go and do them on a frequent enough basis to at least begin to get good results. That's number one. By good results, it's just a hot girl that you're happy with. That would be a fantastic result. Number 2 is location. And number 3 is brotherhood. Skills, location, and brotherhood. If you've got all of those things, you're a dangerous operator. You're a dangerous operator. And you can, literally the sky's the limit. No one, in terms of daytime approach, no one's ever really done it on this level before, in my opinion, where you've got guys like us, Bratva, like the brotherhoods here, myself, Balthus, and Ephraim. We're scratching the surface, believe it or not, on what is possible. We're just here for a month. We're doing our content, we're doing all our approaches, we're all getting dates and having interesting experiences. And we're just here together for 1 month. So imagine if we're here together for a calendar year. So if you've got those things, skills, location, brotherhoods, you're gonna be unstoppable. There's a group of guys from my group, the Entourage. They're all down in London, and they just meet up and they just go on absolutely massive sessions, just hammering the approaches. They're all fun guys, they're all cool guys, and they just have a ball. They've all got skills because the majority of them are trained, and yeah, they've got everything in place: skills, brotherhood, location. And in even new members who are coming in now, they're going for 2-3 months, and they're getting like crazy results, even with like limited experience. They're really upping their results and upping their self-confidence. So if you need those 3 ingredients in place, yeah, I'm at a point now where just like even doing solo sessions, I can do them. I did one yesterday. It's just not very appealing these days. After you've had the taste of really going out with friends and doing great sessions with friends, you know, you need to do your solo sessions, but like it does become a drag. It really does become a drag the more you do it. I think if you're just relying on solo, I would honestly say get in and get out. Get in, get yourself a girlfriend, and fuck off. That's really what I would truly recommend. If you want to be pushing the limits, then that's why you're meeting up with other guys. Tinder, dating apps. Yeah, bro. I mean, this is a cold approach channel primarily, so I think it's an abomination. I think they're an abomination for all concerned. The general pattern is just not good. It discriminates against men who are over 30 very badly. Women get oversaturated with options due to male testosterone and male excessive sperm. Okay, they've got 200 eggs, we've got millions of sperm. Yeah, so we are effectively like more disposable. Not in the real world because we've got a lot of qualities, but in, you know, on just the baseline genetics. And so Tinder is just kind of reducing us to this level. I don't know why guys are bothering. Have people not grown up? Have people not learned their lesson at this point? The only time I would really recommend apps would be maybe if you're a white guy going to Asia, Africa, maybe Latin America, where you want to be in that top 1% if you're on an app. And actually, if you're a European guy who's really well presented, looks good, you may well find yourself in that 1% for an app overseas, but UK, just forget it. I'm not a massive fan of the UK market in general. There are some fit girls there, definitely, especially I find around Manchester, I get a lot of really premium girls, but it's not competitive compared to somewhere like Belgrade. It's just not competitive. Even Turkey, Dominican, it's not competitive. So I've kind of moved on really from the UK market, and even when I'm back in the UK, I only really speak to foreign girls now anyway. I do like some of these northern hotties, these white northern girls who are, there's some that they've got something to them. They're not the drunk loudmouths. There are some that are good, but I don't want good, I want the best. So yeah, everyone's different though. You know, I think if you're just a guy coming in, you just want to get a girlfriend, yeah, you can absolutely achieve a really good quality girlfriend in most countries. So yeah, I don't think people should be totally defined by the territory that they're in. You know. Yeah, I agree, Jay. Yeah, they're a waste of time. They're a waste of time, mate. The pattern that tends to happen is guys start doing cold approach. They start to actually get results in the UK. Then they start to travel. Then they start to get results with hotter girls, with better personalities, who actually believe in things like cooking for men, who actually believe in things like being feminine, being extremely well dressed, being good dancers. You know, these things you find when you go around the world. Not everywhere, but you start to find it more. We've got there's a lot of like bovine culture in the UK. So yeah, I don't know. I've just never really quite felt so at ease with the whole thing. But yeah, it's not just me though. Guys who get the skill, they tend to, everyone actually I've seen go to a high level, they pretty much get the skill and then they leave the US or leave the UK and then they still continue to have success, and they go, you know what, these are better options for me. And again, do you want the best or do you want just decent? You can get decent in the UK for sure, but if you want the best, I don't know. What else can I say on this live? Yeah, the other thing I'd say as well is like, it's not that different approaching like premium quality girls if you want to go for a girlfriend as opposed to just, it's no different. So if you want to be the sexual guy, whether you want the girl as a girlfriend or whether you want the girl as a wife, you still want to come in more on the sexual side. Maybe there's a little bit of modification, I suppose, like you want to connect on other levels as well, but you always want to be appealing to sexuality, at least on some level. And the good thing about a cold approach as well is it's so bold, it's so transparent what your intention is. I don't really see how it can't really be misinterpreted. Even if you go in and you're not even saying that much sexual, you can just look at them. It's pretty obvious, you know, the energy you're transmitting, particularly eye contact, and just your body language, and the fact you've actually run after a girl to go and stop her and talk to her. It's obvious why you're there, right? So you're in that category to begin with from the outset. You can almost chill at that point. You don't need to go crazy. And in fact, actually, I've noticed on some of my infields, when I've ramped up the sexuality a little bit too much, I've watched the girl take a little mini step back. And I was really just doing it for the camera, to be honest with you. But I've watched it and gone, interesting. So some girls, it's a bit much. You know, like you've already gone over, then just don't be too excitable like a teenage boy. It's already sexual, and now let's just enjoy the interaction. Centralized around 4 to 6s, yeah. Yeah, I would say, yeah, it's like a 9 in the UK is honestly like a 7 in Dominican Republic. It's we were talking about in the group today. One of the guys is from, I think he's from Pristina, Kosovo, and I was saying to the guys, like, in Belgrade, like, you do see legitimate global 10s, like it's a level you will see once every 6 months in the UK, and I'll see that most days here, and I'll often see 2 or 3, and it's a legit, like, I would define a 10 as like a specimen of humanity that almost can't be improved. Like maybe, you know, it's just like almost perfect. You're just going, what the fuck? Perfect physically, and then perfect dress, perfect elegance, perfect posture. Everything is just straight 10. And you see that every day here, and you see that every day in the DR. Yeah, and other countries obviously have like hot girls as well. You know, there's some really attractive girls in Italy as well. Spain, yeah, there's a lot of them are frankly Latinas, to be fair. The average Spanish girl, in the south they're pretty hot. Yeah, the Vikings stole all of our hottest women. That's actually true. UK is kind of known internationally as not having masses of hot girls, but I still have found some hot women in the UK, to be honest. So yeah, it's funny because like my ex in the DR, when I showed a picture to my family, everyone was like, "Is she a model?" I was like, "No, she's just an accountant." I was like, she's honestly like a 7 in the DR. She's just standard chick. So yeah, I want to be there's no rewards at the end of the day for sticking to your homeland or some bullshit like that. There's no rewards for that. Poland, Hungary, Czech. I don't know those countries, mate. I don't know those countries. So on this side of Europe, I'm really always been more of a Western European guy until I was 37, and basically I went into Slovenia. I went shooting in Slovenia, and I was like, oh wow, this is a new part of the world. Didn't know anything about this. And then I decided after my 90 days in the EU, right, let's get out. And I went over to Romania, and then went to Macedonia, Turkey, Greece, and then this year came back out to Serbia, Bosnia, went back to Macedonia. So there's still a lot more for me to explore around these places. I've been to the places I've been to, and I've not been to the places I haven't been to. So yeah, there's still a lot more. I think from the guys, I think for example, Poland is more Western in a sense. So I think it's easier to get laid basically in Poland. The girls are more interactive. They're a bit more sexually liberated. Here it's like, it's slower, obviously it goes on, but your average is slower, I would say. And that's coming from Poole University. My friends, Ephraim, he spent a month out in Poland and essentially just destroyed Poland. Same in Barca. And here he's going on dates and it's like no kisses for the first date, you know. He's not used to that. So, but he's enjoying it as well. He's enjoying it. Yeah. Well, Krakow has got a great reputation amongst the guys, the cold approach guys. As my friend Christian said, it's the best place. It's the number one place he would recommend for approach. So I would actually, yeah, I would. I mean, if it's been recommended by Christian and Ephraim, I'd say that's about as good a recommendation as I could imagine. So yeah, definitely worth exploring, I think. So yeah, boys, I'm gonna go and let myself back into my apartment. This is a bit of a cloudy day today here. I'm yeah, exactly. I'm just, yeah, this is the kind of back streets of Vračar basically around here. It feels a bit Havana-ish. There's like let me just show you the bar outside my place. So I'm just above these two bars, which they close at midnight, so they don't really bother me at all. But yeah, the streets feel a bit Havana-ish. You see the old apartments and stuff. Probably was the same architects, to be honest. Like you can see it's a little bit beaten up, communist-y type of stuff. Havana, a lot of parts of Havana are like this. And then you got the street bars, people out, scorching hot. It bizarrely feels quite Havana-ish, but nicer. To be honest, a lot nicer than Havana. So yes, boys, I will love you and leave you. Hopefully this live has been useful. Nice to see a few people on the nice to see a few people in. If you are looking to level up and you are actually looking to dip your toe into cold approach, well, you've basically made a decision. I can't live with the frustration anymore. I can't live another year in the same pit of purgatory that I've been in for the last year or two. The apps aren't favouring me. They're discriminating against me because of my age, because I'm not a 7-foot multi-millionaire taekwondo pilot gigachad. It's just absolutely ridiculous. The clubs are confusing me. I don't like the loud music, the strobe, the battering lights. And I'd like to do cold approach, but it's fucking terrifying. I understand this. It's exactly how I felt before I went and got trained, before I got kind of basically accepted into this brotherhood of guys doing this. We're all over the world, and on any given day we're putting in hundreds and hundreds of approaches, certainly at weekends. Yeah, me and Ephraim and Balthus out here, not to put too fine a point on it, but when people come and see us in a session, it's like, what the fuck? It's like, oh, I thought I was doing cold approach until I saw these guys. And that's just because we've done so much. There's nothing special about us. We've just done so much. We've had the right feedback, the right training, and we've got the right support and the right brotherhood around us. And if you've got that ambition, you know, you can take it wherever you want. I'm 39 years old. Some of the fucking options, even in a place like Serbia, which is not easy, you almost have to literally almost pinch myself at some of the options I'm getting on the table. But it's not an easy crack, you know. I get girls walking straight past me. I get blanked. I get girls who won't stop. I get girls who speak to you for 10 minutes and they're just not interested. You get it all. Yeah, there's no magic formula for anyone. But I'd say the thing that distinguishes us is just the sheer aggression, the volume, and the quality that we're putting out. It's like you're never gonna get to that level alone. you're never going to get to that level alone. It's not a coincidence. Me, Christian, and me, Balthus, and Ephraim, we were all trained by Christian, who's our guru, and now we're out here training other guys and innovating new stuff as well. So yeah, it's not to. There's nothing special about any of us. I'm nearly 40. Ephraim's 25. Balthus is a big, tall, blonde Belgian guy, very artistic kind of guy. I'm more, I don't know, just whatever kind of guy I am. Ephraim is an American guy. He's got dark skin. We're all different, and we're all getting pretty similar results. And we're all pretty happy with what we're doing, even in a harder territory like this. It's because we're trained. It's because we're together. We're in the right location. This is the kind of life. It's all here for the men who are just willing to take the step. It's all here. You know, it's basically, yeah, it is on the table if you're willing, if the right type of guy is willing to step up. And so that's what I'm doing on this channel. It's slowly putting out the content to find the right guys for this, right? To find the guys who have already got many boxes ticked, who already have got good social skills, who've already taken care of the looks to some decent level, and they just want to really explode their options, basically, from, you know, fucking getting abused on dating apps to walking out into the streets with their mates and going, right, who's going to have the pleasure today? Which of you ladies are going to have the pleasure today? Which is how you start to feel. It's crazy how you can develop your mind in this. This all sounds exciting to you. Calendly.com/wingbro. I don't think the link is in the description of this video, but you can see it on most of my other videos. Calendly.com/wingbro. At the moment, I'm doing 3-day immersions out here in Belgrade. It's an amazing city for this. It's an amazing place to come and train. A guy I spoke to yesterday, he's a Bulgarian guy. He said exactly the same. He's not a public guy, but he's very, very good. And he's like, he's kind of total package guy, and he loves it out here because it's like, there's lots of approach, there's lots of experiences, but it's just that little bit like, it's a little bit higher level, you know. And so he said, yeah, he went back over to Western Europe, and he just literally felt like, almost like Superman in comparison to the other guys, because he'd just been used to a little bit of a more, it's not difficult as such, it's just an environment where you've got to really have conviction, which I like. I think it's exactly the way guys should be approaching. So it's a brilliant place to train, and the girls are so hot as well. We're all talking about getting Serbian wives, to be honest with you, so, you know, yeah, I think there's a lot to learn from just going out to different environments, reinventing yourself in a new place. So I'm offering immersions out here for the rest of summer, and yeah, you'll continue to see more content coming through. Should be getting some more infields out as well fairly soon. I've not had too many of those. So yeah, and I'm just I don't consider myself anything crazy. I've just worked on this, you know. I'm more interested in other things. I'm more interested in my fitness. I'm more interested in often intellectual pursuits as well. I just published my first book last week. So I'm not a guy who's just hitting the streets every day. I like to go out, be very efficient, do an hour, get my results, and then bugger off and just enjoy a good personal life. You don't need to be going out doing 8-hour sessions. That's all nonsense, complete nonsense. Should be fun. Go do an hour or two with your mates, bang, 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 and then we move on. So, yeah, calendly.com/wingbro for any newcomers. Just book a meeting. We can have a chat, take a quick case history, and then we see if it's the type of thing that's actually going to work. It's probably not for everyone. Yeah, I think it's for more guys. Like more and more guys are going to start to clock on to doing things the natural way, in a sort of, you know, natural but efficient and semi-enhanced as well. This is the way of the future, in my opinion. So, yes, boys. MS, yeah, nice one. Good to see you. And yeah, Jay, I'll be seeing you on the 14th, mate. Yeah, I'll be doing a few more lives and stuff before then, so maybe catch on one of those. Enjoy the rest of the afternoon, boys. Peace, love. Josefsky coming to you here from Belgrade. Vračar. Oh, SB. Peace.